everyone. I'm Cass from the Entertainment Committee, and today I'm sitting down with one of our performers, Paige Rutledge. Paige, how are you doing today?
Hi, everybody. I am doing so wonderful, Cass. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that you offered to do this interview as well
Yeah.
as play at Relay for Life. I'm so excited to listen to you sing. I know you sang at McCabe's a few times, and I
Yeah.
absolutely love your voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very excited for everyone to hear you play.
I'm excited. And I said during my performance that, like we discussed, I graduated from Guelph in April. So it's been, I'm not physically at Guelph anymore, but I feel very fortunate to be a part of this event and still have the Guelph kind of spirit in my daily routine. And I was like, that's so nice just to do something for the school and still get to be a part of the school.
Yeah, once you go to golf, you're always going to be a part of the
Yeah,
golf for life, I guess.
sure. Yes.
So, my first question for you is what first got you into music?
Yeah. It was kind of, I always loved to sing when I was little. I was obsessed with Shania Twain. Like when I say obsessed, like it was the only thing I'd listen to is Shania Twain because I was like, this is perfect. So I didn't get into music actually until I was a little bit older, aside just loving to sing and always singing around the house and putting on shows for my parents. But it's actually kind of a weird, sad-ish story, I guess, but it's gotten me where it is. So I believe that it's all happened for a reason. But my grandpa, as much as I love Shania Twain, he loves Shania Twain. So I used to go over to his house all the time when my parents were working evenings. We would spend a lot of time with him growing up, and him and I would listen to Shania Twain. So he ended up getting really sick. He got diagnosed with cancer in 2007. And he asked me to come over and sing to him to make him feel better. And I was 9 at the time. So he ended up passing away. It was a really quick, unfortunate experience. But I told my parents, I was like, I'm going to sing at the funeral. And they're like, oh, okay. They're like, if that's what you want to do, they're like, you do it. So at 9, I had this moment where I guess, I don't even think I knew in that moment that I was relying on music to get me through like what I was dealing with. But I had felt this like compelling moment where I was like, music can literally change people's lives. Like it's there for you in the good times, it's there for you in the bad times. It has this special connection with people. And I think that's where him and I had our connection was through Shania Twain and through country music specifically. So it was after that moment that I was like, I want to do this forever. Like I want to sing, I want to write songs, I want to perform on stage. So it was after that I asked my parents to sign me up for singing lessons. And yeah, here we are. Here we are today.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah.
That's extremely touching. I had a close
Thanks.
relationship with my grandfather as well, so it's awesome to hear that. But
Yeah.
yeah, music definitely has the power to connect people around the world, regardless of
Yeah.
what background you come from, what language you come from. Have you ever like spoken to somebody outside of Canada? Has music got you in touch with people overseas or somewhere?
So it's not in like a direct way just yet, but this past year, I guess with everything being online, and I've actually connected with a ton of people in Australia. And I was like, this, I know. And it was so like odd how it kind of happened. So one of my friend's dad lives in Australia, and she sent me a message and was like, my dad's listening to you on the radio right now. And I was like, what? Like, hello? But I guess Australia, from what I've learned, so I did like a little bit of research after, Australia has a pretty large country music scene. And so from there, I was like, wow, like this is a really cool way. And then I was doing a whole bunch of live streams, and people would hop on the live stream and be like, I'm watching you from Australia. And I'm like, what? So I haven't had like a direct conversation with anybody just yet, but in a way, I've like virtually, I guess, connected with people across the world. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
That's insane. And
Yeah.
nobody, I guess you don't really get notified, but nobody told you, like, hey, Paige, we're
No.
playing your music on this station.
Yeah. You don't, yeah, you usually don't. You just kind of have to. And that's why when I don't know if like when you see people on their social media, if you see someone, they're like, my song's on the radio, or like they post all these videos because you don't really get the notification when your song is being played unless it's like you have an interview with that direct station or whatever. So it's always such an exciting thing when people are like, I'm hearing your song. And I'm like, oh, really? Wow. But Australia, I was like, out of all places, I'm like, this is amazing.
Maybe you'll have gigs in Australia and you can join the
I
nice
would not be
weather,
upset about that. Yeah, exactly.
but avoid the spiders. Have a great
And
time
like
down there.
the all other creatures that are not happening.
Yeah, the poisonous like sap.
Yeah.
So you said that you like or you perform country music. Is that
Yes.
the style that you generally gravitate towards too when people listen to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I love country. Like I said, obviously grew up listening to country, like I've mentioned now. But for me, like I said, I had that connection where like compelling moment, I guess, where I was like, music can just impact people in this way I didn't even know. And for me, I love when music tells a story. And I think country specifically does a really wonderful job of telling a story. And it's cool because you can kind of sing about whatever you want and people find their way and find their version of a truth in their song. And I don't know, like it's such a connecting genre. Like people can just find so many truths and relationships or, within that song. So that's what drew me specifically to country. I was like, this storytelling is so cool. And it makes you feel good too. And I think that's an important thing. Like music should make you feel good. And then obviously we all have our favorite sad songs that we like to listen to when we're sad, and country can do that for you too.
Look at the car window and cry.
Yeah. So I think it's cool. I think it's a very honest genre. And I've always appreciated that about music, being honest and telling a story. So that's what drew me specifically to country. Yeah,
Awesome. So you write your own songs. So when you're
I
writing
do.
these songs, are you aiming to tell a story with each of them, or?
Yeah. Yeah. So if I, whatever session I'm going into for a write that day, whether sometimes not so much anymore. Every so often I sit down by myself and write a song, but I've been really fortunate to connect with some really awesome musicians over the past couple years and do a whole bunch of co-writing sessions, which I absolutely love because they just bring out a whole other side of you didn't even know you had. You just need that extra person to pull it out sometimes. But I always go into the writes and I'm like, this is what we need. This is what we're going to say. Like, this is the story. Like, what are we trying to tell people? And I do pull 90% of my stories are like completely like, this happened to me. And I'm like, well, I hope the person doesn't hear this song one day because they're going to know it's about them. But then if it's not like directly about me, I try to pull stories from what I see around me or people that I know. And then sometimes it's also fun just like imagine a situation and bring that story to life. But yeah, the goal is for me when I go into sessions and I write with this one guy, Rich, and every time we write, he goes, what's our story? And I'm like, yeah, what is our story? Like, what are we trying to say here? So yes, to answer your question in that long way, yeah, I really enjoy the storytelling aspect. And that's what I really strive for when I write.
Awesome. So your single "Take Me Back to Tiki," which is on
Yes.
Spotify, could you tell me the story behind that?
Yes. Yeah. So when quarantine, or I guess the pandemic, like really kind of shut down the world, I was up north with my family at my cottage. And we have a tiki bar, and the tiki bar is just the place where everybody comes. I don't even think we expected it to become this like, we're like, people joke, they're like, you could charge admission. And we're like, yeah, probably. But it's become this staple on our road. So everyone comes down on the weekend. Not so much this year, of course, unfortunately, but previous years when we weren't dealing with the pandemic, everybody would come down and we would stay up all night long, just singing and dancing and playing guitar, playing music way too loud. But it's just cool because it's where some of my most like fond memories are. And like the people that I love so much in my life are at the tiki bar. But it's also where it sits, it looks directly to the lake, and we get some really pretty sunsets where we're located in our bay. And so I sit there and I write music because it's so inspiring. Like you look out to the lake, this open lake with the sun setting, and you're like, I don't even know, like it doesn't even feel like real life sometimes. So that's our tiki bar. And my cousin Alex, he was up there with me the entire time during the lockdown. And he's also involved in music. And our family was joking with us one day. They're like, why doesn't Tiki have a theme song? And we're both like, I don't know. I guess we just haven't ever thought about that. So we kind of started it almost as a little, not a joke, because it wasn't ever meant to be a joke, but we're like, this could be a fun like quarantine project. And I think originally we thought we were going to write a song that we're like, this will just be for our friends up north. But then we wrote the song and we both kind of looked at each other and had this moment where we're like, we have to record this. So we turned our cottages into our own recording studio, recorded it. He produced it. We did everything up there. And yeah, it was released at the end of, oh my God, I almost said August, end of October. Summer is the end of August, end of October. And it's been a really crazy adventure kind of since then. It's my most streamed song, which is exciting. But it's also just received so much support. Like I cannot say thank you enough to the people that have listened to this. I had so many people reach out to me on the release date, just so many opportunities to speak and do interviews with a whole bunch of people afterwards and just connect myself within kind of the community, which was really cool. And I got to do this interview with these two girls. They're called Crazy Women Country. One is in Spain and one's in the States. And I'm like, what a cool way to like just connect with people and hear tiki all over the place. So yeah, it's been great. It's been really exciting. And judging by the story, that one is going back to the whole storytelling. That one is a complete, like direct from the heart, poured out. This whole song is a truth.
Well, now it makes me want to go to the tiki bar.
Yeah, I think I've invited everyone. You can come too. It's a party. Once the pandemic's over, we're all going to go back to tiki. It's going to be great.
When people are walking in, that your song has to be playing.
Yeah.
No other way.
The free promotion. I'm like, you have to like the song to enter.
Yeah, I'm full on Spotify. Come on.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So do you have like a certain creative process? Like you have to like light candles to get in the mood to write a song? Like how does it work for you?
I actually do. That's so funny.
Oh.
I do. I have my candles on my desk. I just like the peaceful environment. I have to most of the time. I mean, I usually do feel creative. Everyone goes through their creative slumps or whatever, but for the most time, I walk around with my phone always because I'm like voice memoing or taking notes because I'm like, this is like great. And what if I don't have this moment on the day? So I try to like keep track of all my creative moments. But when I sit down to write a song, I put on my Christmas lights in the background. I light my candles and just create this like relaxing environment. My favorite place to write songs though is at the cottage because you have the lake and it's beautiful. When you look out, you're like, oh, a blue sky, a lake, and you're like, this is the life. You just sit here and you can be creative.
Oh, awesome. So you have to set up a recording studio in your cottage.
I know. I think I'm going to turn the tiki bar into my recording studio. No one knows that yet. I just decided that right now, but that was my first time saying it out loud. But I've had this thought. Yeah. So my parents, when they watch this, we're losing the tiki bar. It's going to be my recording studio.
You can do half tiki bar.
Half tiki. Dancing. Yeah, exactly. The other side, we'll just make the whole inside where the fridges are. I'm like, we'll turn this into a studio.
So I know you already mentioned that you love Shania Twain. Is she going to be your dream collaboration one day, or who's?
Yes, Shania Twain, absolutely. There's a lot, but I think Shania Twain or Dolly Parton for sure. I love Dolly too. I just think she's just the most. I mean, obviously, I don't know her. I wish I did, but she seems like the most genuine, kind-hearted person out there. And everything I've watched, I've just always been like. I idolize her. I think she's just a great person. But Shania would for sure be my dream collab. She just did a collaboration with Kelsea Ballerini, which I also I like Kelsea Ballerini's music. And I was like, that's really cool. I'm like, I wish that was me. But yeah, Shania Twain for sure, especially because, I mean, she's Canadian, which I think is amazing, but she's also one of the biggest like names in the country industry. And she's just done things that no one else in the industry has done. And she's just so cool. And she's just so true to herself. And I love the whole like kind of country pop thing that she has going on because still country, but you want to get up and dance and always sing along to Shania.
Yes, I love music that I can dance to. So
yes,
I dance to your tiki song. So.
Did you? Good. I'm so glad.
Do you have any like what song you would perform with her? Like what's your ideal Shania Twain song you'd love to duet with her?
Oh, that's so good. So my favorite, I have two that I love. You're Still the One because I just think it's so beautiful. But if I had to do like an absolute bop, it would be Any Man of Mine because I'm like, that's the song. Ooh, or Man, I Feel Like a Woman because that's such a classic and who doesn't want to sing that, right? There's so many, but if I had to pick one, I would go with Any Man of Mine because that's my personal favorite Shania Twain song.
It's a good like line dancing song.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You get in the mood and you just kind of like, I don't know. It's so fun. I think it's such a fun song.
Yeah, I think I line danced to that in elementary school.
I'm pretty sure I did it like the ranch too. Yeah.
So I know that music is your go-to talent, but do you have any like hidden talents or interests outside of music?
So before I like fully just committed my life to music and all of my time, I used to figure skate. So I actually learned to skate before anything. My mom's a figure skating coach and my dad's a hockey coach. So I was on the ice at like 2.5, learning how to skate. So, and there was a point where I was still singing, but I was like, I want to go to the Olympics. And I was like, I'm going to be a figure skater. So I can figure skate pretty well. I can also water ski pretty well. And so those are my two hidden talents, I guess.
Oh, awesome. So you can
Yeah.
do like jumps and twirls on slides?
Yeah. So I skated all the way up. Well, I stopped competing at 16 because then I was like, it's getting a little tricky to manage training so much for skating and trying to do music. So I had to make my decision, but I still skated after that. And then even at Guelph, still, I didn't do the team because I was like, I don't have time for anything besides music. But they have there's a Guelph skating club in the university. And so I would go skate once a week or twice a week just to stay on the ice. So yeah, I love skating. I love figure skating.
I wish I could skate. I'm trying to learn, like, I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn to stop.
I can teach you. I got you.
Okay, you have to teach me someday because stopping, I look like a hot mess. I'm either going down in the snow or drop flat.
It's just, you're like, it's not good. It's not.
Yeah, it's either not happening for me.
That's so funny.
So you did go to Guelph.
Yes.
And you're a Guelph alum. You went to
Yeah.
your Bachelor of Arts in Music.
I did, yes.
What did you love most about Guelph? You can talk about the city, but then you can also talk about like your university life.
For sure. Guelph seriously became a second home to me. And I was nervous. I mean, I chose Guelph, like it wasn't even a question. I knew Guelph was what I wanted, but it is a scary thing, like going into something brand new, like when you go into university. So I remember being so nervous to go to Guelph, but everyone I met in the whole, just what I love about this school is the vibe on campus is so just welcoming and people are so nice. Like I never had a bad encounter with anybody, and everybody who I've talked to that had graduated from Guelph prior to me making my decision to going just talked so highly of the school and how much they loved it and all of their great memories. So that was actually what helped me make my decision. And I have nothing bad to say about the school or my experience there. It was such just a welcoming experience. Everyone's so nice. And I like the vibe when you walk around campus and people are happy and people are wearing a whole bunch of Griffin stuff all the time. And I was like, that's a really cool thing. I also loved like the creative aspect on campus. Like there was always music at the bull ring, which is really cool. You always walk in to have lunch or do whatever. Always people performing, which is really awesome because I don't know if you get that. I'm sure you get that other places, but I don't know if you get the bull ring at any other place sitting there listening to live music while you eat lunch. I also loved, like you and I talked a little bit prior to the interview portion about the downtown scene in Guelph. And I loved playing McCabe's. Like that is probably my highlight. When I look back on the past, however many years I was at Guelph, McCabe's, I loved playing McCabe's and loved being downtown and playing at a bunch of different places. But it's just, everyone just loves the community of Guelph. And I think that's a really cool thing. And that's what looking back, that's what I miss the most about not being in Guelph anymore is like the campus vibes and the people. But like I said at the beginning of this, being a part of Relay for Life has given me this like Guelph community again. And it's really cool.
Oh, we're so excited to have you a part of it.
Thank you.
Do you have like a most memorable experience at Guelph?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like there's quite a few. You know what? There was a moment that I was playing at the Bull Ring because when they did the open mic on Wednesdays, and I was playing there one week, and I was playing one of my songs that I had played like a few times before, and people were singing along with it. And I was like, this is really cool. Because it's the same people that would come out each week, and people actually care to listen to what you're doing. And so when people were singing along and people were requesting my original songs, I was like, wow. I was like, what a cool, like little creative community that we've created here on campus. So that's probably one of them. I don't know. I would say too, every time I got the opportunity to play at McCabe's, it was just the best night. Like people were so much fun singing and dancing. And so there was never a night where I was like, oh man, we would leave, the two guys I would play with, Tim and Simon, we would leave at the end of the night and we'd be like so hyped up on energy. We're like, we can't stop, but it's like 2:00 in the morning. So we have to stop. But we're like, because it's just so great.
Okay. I definitely remember you playing, and I remember watching everybody like get so excited and dance.
Yeah.
And like, for some performances, we've never seen that kind of engagement or people like
Thank you.
so like loving the performance on stage. It was like wonderful to watch, but also me, I was like, sit down.
Yeah, I know. I remember like this is probably so bad, but I don't remember what song we were playing, but there was like a group of guys that got up on the table and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I think I feel responsible for this. But also like I know how much trouble they're gonna get in. I was like, oh yeah. But like, that was the energy. I was like, this is how can you like as a performer, not as I would not approve of that working there. Absolutely. But like in the performing aspect, I was like, this is what you want. Like, this is the vibe. This is the energy. So yeah.
Yeah. As a performer, you'd love to see
Oh,
that, but in my position watching that, I'm like,
someone's going to fall off the table. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I remember always like the feedback we got from you was always
thank you.
when's she coming back? Like give her some information. So we'd always have to keep you going.
I can't wait to be back as soon as we're allowed to have live music again.
I can't wait to have you back.
Yeah.
So what's next for you in general in life? Like what's happening next year?
So I am fully doing music right now. And I just, as I said to you, like cut back on my job so I can focus on music full time. I'm releasing a new single at the beginning. It's supposed to be the end of March, but I'm going to lean more towards the beginning of April right now. We don't have the actual release date just set because obviously things are a little weird with timing right now and everything going on. And being in that lockdown did not help with that process, but it's okay because we're back up, we're fully running again. So just releasing as much music as I can this year. Like I said, another release kind of in the next month, which is cool. And then just going into the summer, releasing as much music and just kind of seeing where everything goes and hoping to get down to Nashville and the next bit to do a writing trip with the people I've been writing with in person instead of being virtual, which would be really nice because you actually get to go down and do the whole travel experience. But yeah, just kind of seeing where life takes me. Whatever I can play, really hoping for live music again soon. Like I said, though, I actually enjoy the virtual aspect, but looking forward to being back, just releasing a whole bunch of music and seeing where it goes.
Oh, awesome. Do you have any like big music goals that you're trying to manifest for 2021?
Oh my God, I manifest everything. I totally believe in that power. I'm like, this happens. Yeah, 2021. I guess the biggest goal I have right now by the end of the year, I would love to have some sort of not necessarily like a representation and like a label sense, because I know that's like a really big goal, but obviously that's the goal one day. But I would love to get my feet wet and kind of get into more of that side of it and start making the connections that way.
Awesome. And so if people want to keep up with you, they can check out your Instagram, Paige
Yes.
Rutledge.
Yep. Everything's at Paige Rutledge.
For sure. And on Spotify as well.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Cool. Well, Paige, thanks for taking time out to speak with me today.
Thank you.
I look forward to your performance and for everybody seeing it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. See ya.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to stop the recording. We're not.
Hang up.